What happened to Germany's weapons after World War II? They didn't just disappear, they kept fighting. From Panzer tanks in Middle Eastern wars to Luftwaffe planes in American air shows, Nazi military tech shaped global history in ways you wouldn't expect. Today we uncover the surprising afterlife of Hitler's war machines. As the dust settled on World War II, the Allies faced an unexpected challenge: what to do with thousands of captured German tanks. These formidable machines, once the pride of the Wehrmacht, now sat idle in vast depots across Europe. The sheer number of tanks presented a logistical nightmare. Storing and maintaining them was costly, and destroying them seemed wasteful given their potential value. With tensions rising in the Middle East, Allied nations saw an opportunity in this success. Countries like Syria, Egypt, and Israel were eager to build up their armed forces, and these German tanks offered a cost-effective solution to meet the growing demand for military hardware. The process of repurposing these vehicles was complex. Teams of engineers and mechanics worked to refurbish the tanks, replacing worn-out parts and updating systems. Modifications were made to suit specific needs, such as improving air filters and cooling systems for desert conditions. As the 1950s progressed, these refurbished German tanks began to make their way to the Middle East. Vehicles designed for European battlefields were now rolling across the sands of North Africa, serving in the armies of newly independent nations. The tank's new roles in regional conflict soon became apparent. During the Suez Crisis of 1956, Egyptian forces used modified German Panzer IVs against British and French troops, and in the Six-Day War of 1967, both Arab nations and Israel used tanks of German origin, creating a unique situation where German-designed vehicles faced each other once again. The Yom Kippur War in 1973 saw Syrian forces using captured German Sturmgeschütz III assault guns, some nearly 30 years old. These aging vehicles, originally designed to break through Allied lines in World War II, now engaged in fierce tank battles in the Golan Heights. But the Middle East wasn't the only place where German tanks found a second life. In post-war Europe, some nations integrated German armor into their own forces. Spain, under Franco's regime, kept German tanks in service well into the 1960s. France, instead of discarding them, repurposed Panther tanks to bolster its own military capabilities. Even Yugoslavia stockpiled German tanks, which decades later resurfaced in the brutal conflicts of the 1990s Balkan Wars. The very weapons that had once terrorized Europe were now being used by the same nations that had fought against them. But tanks weren't the only Nazi war machines to find new life. High above, the Luftwaffe's deadly aircraft faced a different fate, one that would take them from the battlefields to American air shows. After the end of the war, airfields across Europe were filled with abandoned Luftwaffe planes, presenting both an opportunity and a dilemma. The Allies had to decide whether to destroy these technologically sophisticated machines or find a way to repurpose them. Allied engineers recognized the potential in these captured aircraft. They began studying models like the Messerschmitt 262 jet fighter, gaining valuable insights that would influence post-war aircraft design. This process of examination and reverse engineering allowed the Allies to adapt Luftwaffe technology for peaceful purposes. The next step was to transform these warplanes for civilian use. Engineers removed weapons systems and modified the aircraft to meet civilian aviation standards. This complex process required significant technical expertise to ensure the planes were safe for public use while maintaining their unique characteristics. Surprisingly, these former enemy aircraft soon found a new role in American air shows. Planes like the Bf-109 and FW-190 became star attractions, performing aerobatics over US soil. Spectators were drawn by a mix of curiosity and nostalgia, eager to see up close the aircraft they had known only from the news reports during the war. The presence of these planes at air shows evoked complex emotions. Veterans who had once faced these aircraft in combat now watched them perform with a blend of fascination and reflection. Pilots who flew these planes in shows often remarked on their impressive capabilities while acknowledging their complicated history. But the US wasn't the only country intrigued by Germany's aviation technology. Soviet engineers carefully studied captured Luftwaffe jets, again particularly the Messerschmitt 262, leading to breakthroughs in MiG fighter development. Argentina went a step further, purchasing ex-Luftwaffe aircraft and even hiring former Nazi pilots to train its air force. Even South Africa briefly experimented with using German aircraft before phasing them out. The influence of Luftwaffe engineering stretched far beyond American air shows, quietly shaping the next generation of global air power. While Nazi aircraft found new life in civilian air shows and air forces, other aspects of the Nazi war machine were undergoing their own transformations. The vast arsenal of small arms left behind by the German military would soon embark on a journey that would have far-reaching consequences for global conflicts in the decades to come. Millions of captured German firearms would soon impact conflicts from Asia to South America, raising questions about their distribution and control. The immense quantity of German small arms after World War II presented an unprecedented challenge. Millions of weapons were scattered across Europe, creating a logistical nightmare for Allied forces. The Mauser 98K rifle and MP-40 submachine gun, once central to German military operations, now lay in vast stockpiles. The Allied nations faced a difficult decision regarding this massive arsenal. Initially, many serviceable weapons were allocated to active units, particularly anti-tank grenade launchers. Those beyond repair were often melted down for raw materials. However, a significant portion found their way into warehouses, with the Soviet Union collecting thousands of units of serviceable military equipment from Germany. As Cold War tensions rose, the redistribution of these German small arms intensified. Many World War II firearms were stockpiled by various governments and later sold or donated to smaller nations, particularly those aligning with communist ideologies. Tracking these weapons proved incredibly challenging due to their sheer number and the clandestine nature of many transactions. This lack of oversight had serious consequences in subsequent decades as conflict erupted worldwide. From the jungles of Southeast Asia to the mountains of South America, German firearms found their way into the hands of fighters decades after the war. The Mauser 98K rifle, once the backbone of the Wehrmacht, was used by Chinese forces during the Korean War and later by Israeli troops in early conflicts. In Africa, captured German firearms were smuggled into civil wars, while in South America, guerrilla fighters used MP-40 submachine guns in armed uprisings. Perhaps most significantly, the groundbreaking Sturmgewehr 44, one of the first true assault rifles, directly influenced the design of the iconic AK-47, making Hitler's assault rifle the indirect ancestor of the world's most widely used weapon. The Syrian War, for instance, saw the use of Sturmgewehr 44 rifles decades after their production. The dispersal of German small arms illustrates how military technology from one era can shape conflicts in another. This redistribution of firearms raises questions about other technological legacies of World War II. What became of the secret weapons projects and advanced technologies developed by German scientists? The answer reveals another surprising chapter in the afterlife of Nazi military innovation. As World War II drew to a close, Allied intelligence circles buzzed with reports of advanced German technology. Jet engines, guided missiles, and other innovations were said to exist in hidden laboratories. These claims sparked a new era of scientific competition as nations raced to secure Germany's technological secrets. The final months of the war saw Allied forces pushing into German territory, uncovering scattered evidence of advanced weapons projects. Partially completed prototypes, technical drawings, and research facilities revealed the extent of Nazi Germany's scientific efforts. The Messerschmitt Me-262, the world's first operational jet fighter, stood out as a prized find, representing a significant leap in aviation technology. Allied nations, particularly the United States, recognized the value of not only the hardware but also the minds behind these innovations. Operation Paperclip, a secret US government program, aimed to recruit top German scientists and engineers. This controversial initiative brought numerous German experts to America, including those who had worked on rocket technology that would later influence the US space program. But the Americans weren't the only ones racing to secure Germany's technological secrets. The Soviet Union launched its own initiative, Operation Osavyakim, where thousands of German scientists were forcibly relocated to work on Soviet weapons programs. These scientists played a crucial role in shaping early Soviet missile and aviation technology, contributing to the Cold War arms race. Meanwhile, Argentina recruited former Nazi engineers, hoping to develop its own rocket program, though these efforts ultimately failed. Even China gained access to some German technological research, incorporating it into its early Cold War military developments. Nazi wartime research didn't just shape the US space program, it influenced global military strategy for decades. The ethical implications of employing former Nazi scientists sparked significant debate, with critics arguing that it compromised moral standards while proponents claimed it was necessary for national security. Allied researchers closely examined captured German prototypes, uncovering valuable insights into armor design, missile technology, and aerospace engineering. While some tanks like the Panzer and King Tiger were repurposed for study, many were simply melted down due to post-war material shortages. But these technological finds shaped more than just military advancements. The Sturmgewehr 44 assault rifle influenced modern firearms, while German jet innovations helped define post-war aviation. The impact wasn't limited to war. These discoveries laid the foundation for Cold War rivalries and even the space race. World War II didn't end with surrender. It endured through its weapons, leaving a lasting imprint on modern warfare and global conflicts. The remnants of Hitler's war machine continue to shape military strategy, technology, and geopolitics to this day. Well, that's it. Thanks for watching. We hope you found this video informative. If you've enjoyed learning about today's topic, make sure to check out our video, What Happened to German Generals After World War II? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on more World War II content. And we'll see you in the next one.